Head over to miniaturemarket.com where they have thousands of board games at discounted prices like lanterns. Hello my friends, it's the Game Boy Geek here. In this week's episode of The Best Games I Forgot, I Loved, the Rediscovered Treasures, we're talking about Lanterns, which is a sort of a classic family-style game that's published by Foxtrot Games and Renegade Games. This came out many years ago, and I've always loved it, but it's been a long time since I've played it, and so it makes this list that I played it recently and remembered how much I loved the game. So let me give you a quick 1-minute overview of how the game plays, and I'll see you on the other side. Lanterns is one of those games that has a beautiful box, great art, and is published by Foxtrot Games and Renegade Game Studios. Lanterns is for 2 to 4 players, plays in about 30 minutes, and is great with families and with strategy gamers as well. In Lanterns, you'll be trying to earn honor points, and doing so by collecting beautiful lanterns and placing them in great displays in the Palace Lake. And you get those lanterns by placing lake tiles, and depending on the orientation that you choose will determine which colored lantern you get. It also depends on what side of the table you're on. If we're on this side of the table facing this way, we would get a red lantern. But beware, all the other opponents that are sitting around the other edges of the table will likewise get lanterns of their color. Matching surrounding tiles helps you as well because you'll get that color lantern in addition to the one that you would normally get facing that side of the table. Matching a tile with a special platform gains you a favor. Favors can be spent to exchange lanterns you don't need for ones you really do. Sets of lanterns can be turned in for honor points, like 4 of a kind. But you better be fast because as these points go away, they become worth less as the game goes on. Yeah, lanterns looks beautiful on the table. You probably couldn't really tell on the camera, but the tiles in this game are nice and big and beautiful. They're definitely bigger than say Carcassonne tiles, but they just look so nice. The coloring, the shading, the different lanterns, the colors of the lanterns on there. It just looks nice on the table. But the best thing about this game is it's always a trade-off. You're trying to figure out how can I most efficiently get the cards I need to turn into points and get them as fast as possible because it's a race, while slowing my opponents down. You know, there might be times where you're looking at the board and you're like, ooh, I could really get this, and this will get me this and a favorite tile, but you know what? It will also get that player this, and if they have that, then on their turn, they're going to get that, which is the biggest point scored in that contest, which I'm closer to them that now, and I'm going to be able to score that next round. And so you're constantly thinking of what you might do, and then as you think through it, you're like, ooh, I don't want to do that. It's going to help my opponent out too much. And I love that about this, that you're always worried and looking at what other players are doing, which gives the game a lot of interaction. And since you're playing into the middle of the board, it's pretty much anyone's board. You place a tile, and it might open up an opportunity for someone else to do something. And I love that aspect of it. I like that you're trying to sort of match some of the platforms as well with the colors, so they can get those favors. And that can be really cool too, is you're like, oh, I'm gonna play here. That means I'm gonna get this red and this black, and I'm gonna get a favor. So sometimes you can have like these big turns, and getting those favor tokens is really big as well, because using those 2 favor tokens is great because at the beginning of your turn, you can trade in cards for the ones that you want to, and then do the dedication and get the points. It's sort of like a little combo building there that you're trying to set yourself up for some bigger turns. And when you have these big turns, it's really cool. I like that the scoring is sort of a race. Sort of the faster you get to some of these tiles, the better the points are. So you might be working on something, and then you know what? You might look at it, someone else might have scored the thing that you wanted to get, and then you might look at your hand and go, you know what? This one's now worth the same as this one, but this one's gonna cost me 7 cards, and this one's only gonna cost me 6 cards. I could do both. Let me do the one that costs 6 cards. I'll still have 1 card left over that I can do other things with it. So you can pivot and change and stuff, but I like that you're sort of racing towards things, and sometimes you'll need to pivot and change your strategy. I like that the cards are limited, the amount of cards of each color. So it's really tight that it's like, ooh, I want to get this, and this. Ooh, but I can't get it because all the other players have taken the cards I want. I'm going to have to either change my strategy or wait until someone does a dedication and puts those cards back. It scales well with player count because of that. This, in the end, is a great intro to tile laying game and resource management. On the negative side of things, I think the game is best with 2 players. This isn't a bad thing, but just be known that with 2 players, you can really do a lot of planning. Like I was saying, placing this, knowing what they're gonna get, knowing what they're pretty much going for. With 3 or 4 players, by the time it's your turn, 2 or 3 other players are taking their turns, and by the time you finished your last turn, you've got a plan, you now have all these other cards that you weren't expecting to get, and now you're like, oh, I was gonna go for this, but I just kind of lucked into this thing, and I'll just do this. And so it feels like, you know, it's a little easier, you get a little more help from the other players, and it's a little bit more random in that regard. So if you like things to be a little more forgiving, a little more random, 3 or 4 players you might like better. I like it with 2 players because it's more planning and things like that. That's the only negative is it doesn't scale quite as well with the way the game feels. I like it best with 2. But other than that, this is a fantastic game, and those are the reasons why this is one of the best games that I've forgot about, and it's a rediscovered treasure. This has been the Game Boy Geek, breaking down barriers, growing relationships through board games by helping you find the next one you'll love. Game Toppers not only transforms your existing table to a high-quality gaming solution, they now offer full leg kits and dining cover solutions for the full table application. Paired with their amazing thematic premium stitched edge mats, collapsible cup holders, and really cool accessories, it is a complete system that upgrades every game you play. Get in on the goodness of Game Toppers 3.0 on Kickstarter now. Click the link below or go to GameToppersLLC.com.